really good ending to the week. It's practice 12, big scrimmage, very similar to last week, more situational than it was last week. We hit virtually every situation in this scrimmage today. Not quite as extensive as last week, but almost. I think it was about 115, 120 snaps, which maybe a dozen or so less than last week. But good work, plenty of special teams work in addition to offense, defense. But like I said, we hit virtually every aspect, backed up, 2 minute, 4 minute, high red, low red, short yardage. We had it all. And so much better tempo this week by the offense. Last week, one of the things that was a negative was the tempo of the offense. Too slow, getting in and out of the huddle, pressing the play clock too often. So much better in that regard this week. Did turn the ball over a couple times this week, today offensively, which bad for the O, good for the D. Some good work in the red zone. Defense came up with a heck of a goal line stand in one of the series. A lot of production by the offense. Much better job throwing the football today than last week. And it wasn't bad last week, but it was very good this week. Guys making plays. Charlie Brewer did a nice job putting the ball where it needed to be, and we saw some progress out of the other four quarterbacks as well. Everyone's taking a step forward collectively as a team, which has to happen. Now we got 3 practices next week, full gear on Tuesday, physical practice, no pads on Thursday, and then we'll culminate with the spring ball or the spring game on Saturday at noon, and that'll be a wrap. And then we'll be getting ready for the summer conditioning, which starts June 1. So that's where we're at. And go ahead and ask questions.
First up will be John Kuhn with AP, followed by Trevor Allen with KSL Sports.
Kyle, you've talked about different points this spring.
You said John Candy, did you?
No.
John Candy.
No, he's
move
long
on to Trevor
gone.
Allen with KSL Sports, and we'll come back to you, John.
Can't hear Trevor.
Oh, hey, Coach.
We got technical difficulties, guys.
Can you hear me, Coach? Can you guys hear me?
Went to an REO Speedwagon concert one time with technical difficulties. It was miserable.
Can you guys hear me?
Did they even hear the opening statement? Did not. There's nothing valuable in it. Okay.
All right, we're going to go back to John
Can you put it
Kuhn.
closer to me? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, if you speak up, I got you.
Okay. Kyle, you've mentioned a couple of times this spring Brewer's progression at quarterback. What has really keyed his progression? What's allowed him to just hit the ground running and really grasp the playbook so quickly in Utah?
Well, first and foremost, I would say that all those reps he had in the Big 12 were prepping him for, when he got here. I mean, he's a guy that's played so much football at this level. As far as being able to digest offense, he's done an outstanding job of studying on his own time, which all great quarterbacks do. There's not a quarterback worth of salt that doesn't spend a ton of time outside of the structured meeting times on his own, getting schooled up and watching extra film and all that type of stuff. So he does all the little things that make a difference between being just average or being really good. And so he's paid that price, and it didn't start during spring ball. He was, from the day he set foot on campus, he's been in that playbook and in the film room, and what you see out on the field, I guess you don't see it, but what we see out on the field is a product of all that hard work.
Next question will come from Trevor Allen with KSL Sports, followed by Cole Bagley with Utah Daily Chronicle.
Kyle, it sounded like the defense had a really good scrimmage today. From what it sounds like, who has stood out in today's scrimmage?
Okay, we had a bunch of guys making plays. Clark Phillips had a nice interception, made some big plays. The defensive front was physical from start to finish. Trying to think specifically in the back end, Zemiah Vaughn made a couple of real nice plays. He's adjusting to that corner spot, moving from safety. Devin Lloyd was all over the place as always. He's a guy that makes a ton of plays every practice. We weren't with Mika Tafua. He had a little minor injury that kept him out today. But overall, a lot of good play by the defense overall. Maybe didn't tackle quite as well as we did last week, but we did create some takeaways on that side of the ball. And like I said, we had that nice goal line stand, and just overall a good effort and good hustle, good mentality by our defense today.
Next question will come from Cole Bagley, followed by Josh Newman with the Salt Lake Tribune.
Kyle, I'm curious, what were your initial thoughts and reactions when Jalen Dixon came back from the transfer portal?
Well, first of all, I had to understand why and what the scenario was. He's a heck of a football player. He adds a dimension to our receiving core that we don't. Nobody has too much speed, and he gives us a lot of speed at that position. He takes the top off the coverages. But my first inclination was, okay, let's listen to what he had to say, and it all made sense. And then obviously, very excited after that he was coming back for the right reasons, because he's a heck of a football player and made a lot of plays for us over the course of the last few years. And so, but first we had to understand, because typically when you go in the portal, you're going elsewhere. But he had a very thoughtful. I had a thoughtful conversation with him. He gave me some good background and feedback on what was going on in his life, and it was a no-brainer for me. Took it to the leadership council. They felt the same way, and so he has been reinstated, obviously.
And then just a quick follow-up, how has he
Next
been
question will come
performing?
from Josh Newman, followed by Steve Bartle with the Ute Zone.
Got
Kyle,
that?
how you doing?
Oh, there we go. Doing good, thank you.
Sorry about that. I couldn't hit the button. Between yourself and the coaching staff, from week 1 to week 2, scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, how does your mindset change in terms of what you're looking to see or what you're hoping to see?
Well, first of all, we're hoping to see cleaner execution on offense, more efficiency, fewer mental mistakes, which we definitely did today. The mental mistakes were way down. And if you're going to make mistakes, make new ones. Don't make the same mistakes over and over. You got to learn from what you do wrong. And if you continue with that mentality and making corrections, eventually you run out of mistakes to make, and you start playing some good football. And so what we needed to see was just that. The tempo I mentioned was not good in the first scrimmage, was really good in the second scrimmage. Came out of it healthy, which is another huge plus. But we just took another big step forward as a football team between scrimmage 1 and scrimmage 2, which would have been week 2 to week 3, week 3 to week 4. And we need to do that again this week. There's still things that we got to get better at. There's no doubt about it. And we've got 3 opportunities on the field to do it, and 3 opportunities in the film room to get things corrected. And so we got to keep forging ahead and moving forward. This team has a really good attitude, a really good work ethic, outstanding leadership. And right now it's just a matter of continuing to get better at what we're doing. There really is no huge glaring deficiency at this point.
Next question will come from Steve Bartle with Ute Zone, followed by Trevor Allen.
Coach, I'm curious with the offensive line. Are you, seeing the progress, the chemistry developing the way you hope to coming into spring ball?
We've seen some of that. It hasn't been the point of emphasis with the offensive line. The point of emphasis with the offensive line and every other position is for every player to get better fundamentally and technique-wise, and we have definitely seen that. We've done a lot of cross-training with the O-line this spring, meaning guys playing different spots so they can play multiple spots. If we get in a injury situation in the fall and are pressed into that, now's the time to do that type of stuff. Starting day 1 of fall camp, that's the time for as quickly as you can, identify who those 5 starters are going to be and allow them to play together the vast majority of those first 25 practices. And we feel that's an adequate amount of time to have that unit gel. Same thing with the secondary. The 2 units that really need to play together and really start to think as one is the front on offense and the secondary on defense. Those are the 2 units that need to get used to playing with each other, next to each other. And We feel like we've got plenty of time to do that in the fall. And we have seen a little bit of that start this spring, but again, that was not the emphasis. It's not a schematic deal in the spring for us. We're not trying to out scheme each other offensively and defensively. We're trying to make each individual player better. If we can do that, then we've got a more solid foundation and a better base to build from come fall camp.
Next question will come from Trevor Allen, followed by Cole Bagley.
We had talked to Brant Keithy after we already talked to you on Thursday, and we asked him about why he chose to come back instead of going to the NFL, and he ended up giving the same answer as Devin Lloyd, that he wanted to win a championship. And so for guys to come back for a year for that common goal rather than going to the NFL, what does that say about your guys and also about the program?
Well, it says we got a bunch of team guys. They're hungry to win it all in the Pac-12, and we've been close, but we haven't got over that hump. That's no secret. We don't hide from that. But being in the league for the time we've been in, we felt like we've made good progress from day one to where we are right now. A contender every year in the South, and hopefully we'll get that breakthrough to be able to win the Pac-12 in its entirety. And it's a credit to those guys to have that mentality. Also, that was not the only thing in the equation. There's academics in the equation, get started on master's degrees and that type of thing. Also, increasing your stock, your draft value. Your stock goes up. The more you play, we didn't have a full season last year. Everyone knows that. We had 5 games. And so I think every guy that made the decision to come back, which was every guy, made the right decision. I really believe that. And it's not to say they're not good enough to play in the NFL. It's a matter of increasing your stock, and the risks were outweighed by the reward that is potentially there. There is risk in coming back. Everyone understands that. But I think when you put everything in the equation, they all definitely made the right decision.
Final question will come from Cole Bagley.
Hey, Coach, sorry, just going back to Jalen Dixon. I'm just curious, how has he been performing thus far?
Had his best scrimmage today. Well, his best practice today. It was only the second scrimmage, but when you add everything up, the scrimmages, the practices, he made an impact today, caught some balls, did some really good things. And so I would say that he's officially shaken all the rust off, and he's playing good ball for us, and he will have a role for us this fall, no question about it. He's going to be in that rotation. Before we leave, how's Finau doing? I just came off the field. Don't know how's Tony doing.
Play got stopped due to weather. He's at +1 through 8 holes.
+1 through 8. What kind of weather?
I'm guessing. I haven't actually been watching, but I'm guessing it's thunder.
Thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just going to be windy, but I guess there's more than that. Okay, guys. Thank you. We'll talk to you Tuesday. Talk to you Tuesday.